10. Hi, Julie Jules Cruise Companion. What I forgot to say in a vlog the other day about my medical physical health after I'd finished a 10-night cruise to the Pacific Islands was about how my liver was feeling after being exposed to both alcohol and sugar after being abstinent from that for about 148 days prior to the cruise. This is what my thoughts and feelings were. Multitude of medical conditions that I've been diagnosed with in my life, because I'm nearly 58 years of age in another couple of weeks, was non-alcoholic fatty liver. Now, non-alcoholic fatty liver, basically, because the liver is such a magnificent organ in the body and we don't treat it very well, it serves as the body's filter, and it is an absolutely wonderful organ because it synthesizes plasma, so our blood. It processes the nutrients that we need to feed our body. It's busy regulating our metabolism and our blood glucose. It's producing bile to assist with the absorption of fats. It does a magnificent and very busy job of detoxifying our body by breaking down any of the toxins, whether that be environmental toxins or over-the-counter tablets or medications, or even the medications that you're prescribed. It is busy filtering toxins out of your body. And another thing, because it is one of the busiest organs in our body, it actually is busy storing glycogen, minerals, and vitamins. It's a very, very busy organ, and we don't treat it very nicely at all. So after any form of abuse that we give our liver, and that is eating everything that it has to filter and consuming alcohol, continual abuse and use of the liver, and that it's going to have a detrimental effect, is going to cause an element of scarring. And the medical term for the scarring of a liver is cirrhosis. And the more scarring that there is within the liver, it decreases its function. In addition to storing the glycogen, that is a short-term store for the body to use as energy, it also develops a fat, a visceral fat, and that is where I had a non-alcoholic fatty liver. I had abused my liver so much over the decades that its function started to decrease. And I knew that it had decreased for several different reasons. Because I had a pain, a dull ache just underneath my ribs in what we call the right upper quadrant. So if you were to divide the abdomen into 4 segments, different organs live in different segments of the body. And so we know that the liver lives in the right upper quadrant. So any form of pain or discomfort, and if you were to palpate, push, touch your ribs just above your stomach and below your ribs, you will feel sometimes, if it is an uncomfortable, unhealthy liver, it will be hard. It will be closer to the skin or the fat, and then when you press down on it, you've got a lot of resistance. If you've got a healthy liver, you can press down under the ribs and your fingers kind of go quite deep under the ribs, where your liver is could be very small and not distended, fat, large. And so that is one of the things that I was feeling when I came off the 10-night cruise, was that my liver was really uncomfortable. On about the 7th night, I think, I texted a girlfriend via WhatsApp going, my liver is trying to leave my body. I have treated it so poorly over the last few days that it tells me that it wants to leave. It was so uncomfortable. I was moaning and groaning. And then when I woke up the next day after not dying, because that's what it feels like that you're doing, I texted my friend and went, clearly didn't die. I must try and detox my liver. So what I actively did when I came back off the cruise was go onto an elimination diet. So I went off any form of sugar and alcohol. I tried to give my body as much of a capacity to detox as possible by just drinking water. You can drink water with lemon, but that's not something that I like. So I stopped giving the attention or stopped giving my liver any work to do, basically. I just allowed it a healing process. And so over about the 7 days that it took to make my liver feel uncomfortable, it probably took about 7 to 8 days after the cruise to have an elimination diet that my liver started to feel more comfortable, where I didn't have any particular pain when moving. When I palpate my stomach, I can't feel the liver. If I press down just underneath the ribs, there's no specific pain, and I don't feel any pain just on day-to-day activity. Because that's one of the magical things about a liver. A liver has the potential to regenerate. It depends, of course, how much damage you have done to it over how long, and the regeneration will take longer the more damage that you've done, but there is some capacity for your liver to be able to heal itself. But you have to be generous and kind to your liver by not giving it too much work to do. If you think of it as any form of organ where the more it has to work, the more it's going to burn out, that is something that we just have to be conscious and active to say, I'm going to give my liver a rest, a bit of a detox, by not making it work so hard. Another point that I probably forgot to mention last vlog, but I have mentioned in vlogs before that, is I was diagnosed with esophagitis, and I was on Raprazole. I was on a protein pump inhibitor for gastric reflux. So you have that esophagitis, gastritis. Once you have those acidic foods or wine or alcohol, the body produces more acid, so that when you are lying down specifically, or it doesn't have to be lying down, that acid rises up your esophagus and becomes uncomfortable. That had happened during the cruise, and of course the minute that I stopped having the spicy foods and the alcohol and started kind of detoxing my liver, it assisted with my gastritis as well. So since being off the cruise, I haven't had that burning sensation or that acid taste in my mouth. So I know that with being a little kinder to my body has started to heal a little bit. Then the other part of this whole thing is a digestion issue, because everything that you take in has to come out. And if we've already taken it in, we filtered it through the liver, utilised the bits that we want. We took on too much water, and now that we've gone to the elimination process, reduced all of that water, then the esophagus isn't aggravated, etc. So once it's gone through the whole process, what happens at the other end? Not that you need to know. The elimination component has changed again since I went on to the elimination diet, which is a carnivore. The more fats that you use, the softer everything is, or the looser everything is. I have regained my regular function, but it's just been over a week since I've been off the cruise for functions to go back to normal. So whatever comes into your body has to go out of your body, and whatever state that is depends on how healthy your body is. Keeping up the fluids is always helpful. I do take electrolytes occasionally, not always. I am on an intermittent fasting with 20 to 24 hour fasting with only a 1 to 2 hour eating window in a calendar day. But that's just through personal choice, and that's the other components that also affect the how the body is feeling, and that's part of that elimination component, reducing the amount of calorific intake by the window that you are eating in, that you cannot take in that many calories. Not eating so much that your body actually has to be able to use a fuel source from somewhere else. And for me, that would be ketones. Even though I'm not passing any ketones in my urine, I am potentially not hungry because I'm eating the high protein and I'm satiated, and I am not eating those easily accessible sugars for my body to use. So it's going to have to use some pretty sophisticated stuff to be able to have the glucose energy store that it needs. So it's going to have to be breaking down what is available in my body to use as glucose, and they do that through the ketone process, the ketosis process. and that's an interesting thing. Google that, look it up, and watch some vlogs about how interesting ketosis is, and how it utilizes other energy stores in your body instead of having to use the glucose, the sugar that you eat instantly for energy for both the brain and body function. And then if you don't eat too many sugars, it doesn't have to store many sugars. It's all a very interesting thing. Once again, cruise adjacent, not specifically related to cruising, but just another bit of an update about how my physical health is going in relation to getting off a cruise ship. Can you be carnivore on a cruise ship? Yes, you can, but you've got to be cognizant, and it's going to have implications to your health. I am not strict. I am just on a journey. Some days I'm better than others. You do you. Good luck with your health journey. This is just a little update about where I am on my journey. This is Julie Jules, Cruise Companion, saying stay safe, everybody, and happy travels.